Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be talking about how to live below your means. Now, what do I mean when I say living below your means? Basically, to put it simply, all it means is to not spend more money than you make. Okay, that's the simplest way to put it. So I'm going to be just throwing out some tips on how my family and I, we live below our means. The first thing you want to do is to know how much money you make. You have to be aware of how much money you are bringing in. So and this is monthly, how much money you bring in monthly, and then also yearly, annually. So look at how much money you make total in a year. So say for instance, if you make, let's just say $17,000 in a year, you want to make sure that none of your monthly purchase exceeds $17,000. You want to make sure that you don't go out and leasing or purchasing anything higher than $17,000. Okay, don't be like me. I made that mistake. I went out and I was only, at the time, I was making $19,000 a year, and I went out and I leased a car for $25,000. That was one of the dumbest financial mistakes that I have ever made. Now, I didn't have a problem with making the monthly payments because, so it's with the car that I have now. So I have a 2007 Toyota RAV4, and at the time my monthly payments were $483.73. That's how much I was paying monthly to my car. Now, I was able to make those payments to my car. I've never had a missed payment, never a late payment or anything like that. I was able to make the payments. It was just that, number one, I didn't know this at the time, but number one, that was way too much for a 2007 RAV4. But I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about cars. I just wanted, because before that car, we had a 2007 Toyota Ford Focus. But that car wasn't reliable during the winter months up here. So that is the only reason why I decided to do an upgrade and get something that'll be much safer for me and my family during the winter months. And my monthly payments for that car was only $200, which was even better. But because I decided to upscale, you know, and the thing about it is that my husband told me, he was like, I think that you should get a car off of Craigslist. That way, you know, we won't be coming out of pocket so much. But at that time I didn't listen because I just wanted a car, you know, from the dealership. It wasn't brand new, it was used, but I just kind of like, at that time with us having a child, and this was when we just had my daughter at the time. At that time I was just more focused on, you know, just our overall safety. So I didn't want to just go and just get a random car off of Craigslist, because the way I looked at Craigslist is majority of the time people they try to give you shitty cars, and so that's what I thought about Craigslist. But I went ahead and I signed the agreement to go ahead and move forward with the RAV4. But before I did, my husband told me, he said, okay, he said, have you thought about your checks that you get? Are you going to be able to pay this? And he told me, he was like, because if you get this car, you're going to pay it. You just make sure you pay the payments. He was like, I will take care of the insurance, but you will pay the car note, which only made sense anyway, because at that time I was making way more than my husband. So it only made sense for me to pay it anyway. So my husband, I paid the car note, he handled the insurance. Now, I was never late on a car payment, never ever late. I always paid my car on time. But the thing about it is that I tried to save money, but I couldn't, because it was like, every time I tried to save, I had to dip into that savings and use the money for something. And then on top of that, we had all types of other loans out at that time. And so it was just like a bad thing. So that is one thing I learned. Do not go out and lease a car if it is more than what you make a year. That's like one of the worst things that you can do, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, because I experienced it and it was not a good experience. So do not do that. The second thing you want to do is you want to make sure you create a budget, so that every month you know exactly where your money is going. So you want to, like, say for instance, if you have a Netflix subscription, groceries, gym membership, magazine membership, whatever you pay in your house, phone bill, whatever you pay in your house, you want to make sure that you have a budget for each of those categories. Okay, make sure that you have a budget for each of those categories, and use the envelope system. Dave Ramsey used the envelope system. With the envelope system, the only thing you have to do is grab some envelopes for however many categories you have. Grab that amount of envelopes, write on the envelope what category it is and how much you plan to put in there each paycheck, and then just use that envelope only for that category. Once that envelope is empty, then that's it. You just have to wait until you get paid the next time to you know, put more money in the envelope. So you can do that. The envelope method is extremely helpful, but it's extremely important for you to create a budget. When you don't know where your money is going, then you just start spending. You start spending. Because I know some of y'all probably been like, where have all this money gone? Like, where have all my money gone? I could have sworn I had this much, but now I don't have it. It's because you don't know where your money is going. You're not keeping track of it. And so creating a budget will help that. Now, the next thing you need to do, or that we do, that I suggest you try, is to cut out meaningless expenses. And meaningless expenses are basically your wants and not your needs. Okay, so for us, the only monthly payments we just have rent, car insurance, light bill, and internet. Rent, car insurance, light bill, internet. Those are the only 4 monthly bills that we have. So we don't. Oh, and we have Netflix. We have Netflix too. Anything extra that is a want and not a necessity, we don't have that. Now, I'm not saying that's what you have to do, but I'm pretty sure there is something that you can cut out of your budget, especially if you are living paycheck to paycheck, or if you find that you are unable to put any money aside for savings. It's because you need to cut something in your budget. Like for me, with my phone, I am with Straight Talk. I have been with Straight Talk for many years, and what I like to do is to pay my stuff up like way ahead of time. That's what me and my husband, we like to do. So with my phone bill is $50 every single month. Every single month, $50, nothing more, nothing less. Always $50 every month. And so what I did was, I was like, okay, you know what? Okay, so I'm the type of person, me and my husband, we do not like monthly bills. Except for the bills that we have to pay, like rent, light bill, all that type of stuff. Other than that, I don't like any type of extra bills, period. So what I did with my phone was, I paid my phone bill up for an entire year. And if you're with Straight Talk, for an entire year, I think you're going to spend roughly around $500 to pay your phone up for an entire year. So that is what I did. And I think I saved like $45. Hey, whenever I'm able to save something, I'm cool with it. We had out a bunch of loans at a bunch of different places at one point. And so that is what made it hard for us to save money, because on top of me having the $500 car note to pay, we had rent, we still had rent to pay, we had light bill to pay, we had internet to pay, and then we had like, oh my gosh, I think we had like, at one point we had like 5 or 6 loans out, and some of them are payday loans, and you know how those loans eat up in interest. So and it just made it so hard for us to save. So you want to make sure you cut out, like, if you can make it without a loan, I would suggest not getting a loan. To me personally, I think loans are the worst things to get. Loans to me are worse than credit cards, and I'll do a video sometime in the future talking about credit cards. You just have to look at all of your monthly bills and just sit down and just put them all together and just think, okay, what is a necessity and what is a want? Once you identify that, you want to cut out your wants. If there are wants, and if you know that you can do without it, cut it out. Okay, the next thing is, if you have a family and you live on 2 incomes, that's even better. So if you have 2 incomes, try your best to live off of 1 income. So pay all of your bills, get all of your groceries, all of whatever you pay a month, all of your little extra stuff, pay it on one income. If you live in a 2-person household, pay your bills with one income and save and invest the second income. That way you got money for your bills, and you got money to put up for yourself, and you got money to invest and do whatever you want to do with it. That is what I suggest if you have a family and you have a 2-person income. Another thing you want to make sure you stop doing is to stop keeping up with the Joneses. Stop trying to keep up with what other people have, because what you have to understand is everybody's situation is different. So you cannot compare yourself to someone who has more than what you have, and you just can't do that, okay? Because everybody's situation is different. Everyone gets paid differently. So, and I think this is like a common thing, especially in the Black community. We all want to try to keep up with the next person. We all want to go out and get the newest gadgets. We all want to basically follow trends. We just gotta always keep up with what other people do. Now, I'm not saying don't treat yourself. I'm not saying that at all. I'm only saying, like, if you're just pretty much doing it to try to prove a point to others, when you know that you can't afford this item, you know. And I feel like so many people do this, and so many people wonder why they don't have money. It's because your priorities are messed up, and people don't want to sacrifice. That's one thing I know for sure. People do not want to sacrifice. Like, do some research. There's tons of stuff on the internet explaining how to save money. They talk about eliminating your expenses, getting rid of your debt. I'm also gonna do a future video on how we paid off our debt and how much debt we had. So yeah, you have to sacrifice in order to, you know, get through some stuff. You're gonna have to make some sacrifice, because it's not gonna be easy. But I can most definitely tell you one thing: keeping up with what other people do, you will forever be in your current position. And it's like, it's so funny because I see people all the time talking about and just saying, I'm so broke, like I never have any money. And the problem with that is that you need to watch the words that you put into the universe. Because if you sit up here and say over and over again that I am broke, I never have any money, then guess what? The universe is listening to that. And every time you say that, you're going to continue to be in broke situations. You're going to continue to attract broke people around you. And guess what? You have no choice but to continue to be broke, because you're putting it out into the universe. Instead, start switching that I am broke to I have more than enough money. Stop saying I never have no money. Instead, switch that to money comes to me easily and effortlessly. You need to start switching your negative to positive. And I know this may sound like, oh, whatever. No, it works. You just have to try it. Now, I know a lot of people won't, like, just don't think that this will work, but if you start focusing on the negative and you start bringing positive in, I guarantee you will notice the difference. Me and my husband, we always talk about this type of stuff, and we always just sit and we're always like, you know, why don't people, you know, just actually sit down, take a look at their situation, and try to figure out why they're in the position that they're in when it comes to money? You know, because that's all it takes for you to just sit down, look at how much money you make a year, create a budget, figure out what you can cut out on your list, because there is always something that you can cut out. And also grocery shopping. Grocery shopping does not have to be expensive like most people think. And I will also do a video on that, because I love grocery shopping, and I can feed our family of 4 on $100 for a month. And that's including fresh produce. So yeah, I just wanted to make this really quick video. There are tons of more things and ideas and tips on Google on how to live below your means. Those are just a few that we do. So hopefully this inspires you guys in some kind of way. So that is pretty much it for this video. And as always, before I leave, I want to close out with saying, do not let anyone stop you from living the life that you deserve. And with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.